Jake Holloway found her just past dawn, a tiny figure hunched beside the overturned wagon on the edge of his property. At first, he thought it was a wild animal protecting a kill. Then he saw the small hand clutching a broken rifle, the tear-streaked face, and the woman's body the child refused to leave. The girl couldn't have been more than 7, dressed in a tattered blue dress, her dark hair matted with dust and dried tears. She raised that useless rifle toward him with shaking hands and whispered, "Stay back." "She's just sleeping." Jake had buried enough people in his 53 years to know the woman had been gone for at least 2 days. The wagon wheel was shattered, supplies scattered across the prairie like forgotten dreams. No other bodies, no horse. Just this fierce little guardian and her mother's final resting place. He dismounted slowly, hands visible, the way you approach a wounded animal. Before we continue, pause for just a moment and tell me in the comments, which country are you watching this from? I love knowing where these stories reach around the world. Now, the girl's eyes followed his every movement, that broken rifle never wavering despite her exhaustion. "Name's Jake," he said softly, kneeling 10 feet away. "What's yours?" She didn't answer, just pressed closer to her mother's still form. He could see the resemblance now, the same sharp chin, the same determined mouth. "You've been real brave, keeping watch like this. Your mama would be proud." Something flickered in those hollow eyes. Pain, recognition, fresh tears. "I promised," the girl finally whispered, voice cracking. "I promised I wouldn't leave her alone. Daddy left us in Santa Fe. Said he'd be back with money. Mama said we'd meet him in California. Then the wheel broke, and she got hurt, and I tried to fix it, but I couldn't, and she stopped talking, and I promised I wouldn't leave." The words tumbled out like a dam breaking, years of fear compressed into one terrible confession. Jake felt his throat tighten. He'd lost his own wife and baby daughter to fever 15 years ago. Sold everything, moved west, built a ranch on the edge of nowhere because being around people hurt too much. He convinced himself he was better off alone, that caring meant suffering. But looking at this child, so small and so shattered yet refusing to abandon her post, something cracked open in his chest. If this moment is touching your heart, hit that like button to help this story reach others who need it. "Here's what we're going to do," Jake said, moving closer. "We're going to keep that promise together. I'm going to make your mama a proper resting place, right here where she can see the sunrise. We'll mark it with stones and say words over it. Then you're coming with me, kid, to my ranch. It's not fancy, but it's got a roof and food and a room that's been empty too long." The rifle finally lowered. "Why?" she asked, and Jake heard the real question behind it. Why would you care? Why would you help? Why would anyone want me? "Because your mama raised someone brave enough to guard what matters," he answered. "And because a long time ago I forgot how to be that brave. Maybe you can teach me again." They buried her mother as the sun climbed higher, Jake doing the digging while the girl gathered wildflowers. She told him her name was Sarah, and her mama's name was Carolyn. Together they stacked stones in a cairn that would last through storms. Sarah whispered her goodbyes, and Jake surprised himself by whispering his own prayer for the woman who'd raised such courage. Riding back to the ranch, Sarah fell asleep against his back, tiny arms wrapped around his waist. Jake realized he was crying, not from sadness, but from something he thought died 15 years ago. Hope, purpose, the understanding that sometimes broken people save each other. Sarah grew up on that ranch, learning to rope cattle and mend fences, filling empty rooms with laughter Jake had forgotten existed. Years later, when people asked why he'd taken in an orphan, Jake would smile and say, "I didn't save her. She saved me." If this story reminds you that healing begins when we choose compassion over isolation, then subscribe to this channel and share it with someone who needs hope today. Because somewhere, someone feels alone in their grief, and they need to know that family isn't just blood. It's the people who refuse to leave you behind. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep these stories of redemption alive together.